In the northeast of Thailand, surrounded by rice fields and humid winds that whisper through ancient trees, lies a small, unassuming village called Ban Non Wat. For centuries, the villagers had no idea that beneath their feet slept one of the greatest secrets of the human past, graves so rich, so elaborate, that they would rewrite what we know about the rise of civilization in Asia. It began quietly in the early 2000s. A team of archaeologists led by Professor Charles Hyam began excavating what they thought would be a small Bronze Age settlement. They expected to find pottery, a few tools and bones from ordinary lives long gone. But they were not prepared for what they found instead. Just a few feet below the surface, they uncovered a grave. Inside lay the skeleton of a man, perfectly preserved, his bones still aligned as if he had just fallen asleep thousands of years ago. But it was what surrounded him that stunned the team. Dozens of bronze bangles, shell beads, and finely crafted ornaments were wrapped around his arms and neck. There were ceremonial vessels, weapons, and even golden fragments, far more wealth than any prehistoric farmer should have possessed. The team realized this was no ordinary burial. It was a statement, a declaration of power, hierarchy, and status from a world we believed was still primitive. And it wasn't alone, because as they kept digging, they found another grave, and then another, and then dozens more. Each burial told a story of growing complexity. The earliest graves were simple, but as the centuries passed, something extraordinary happened. The burials became richer, more elaborate, more royal. The people of Ban Non Wat were not just simple farmers. They were evolving, building an organized, powerful society right here in Southeast Asia, thousands of years earlier than anyone had imagined. Word of the discovery spread fast. Soon, scientists from around the world came to Thailand to witness what some began calling Asia's Valley of Kings. The soil here held evidence of one of the earliest Bronze Age cultures, dating back nearly 4,000 years. But that wasn't the shocking part. The real shock was what it implied. Until this discovery, textbooks told us that complex civilizations first rose in Mesopotamia, then spread slowly eastward. Thailand, it was believed, was far from the center of early civilization. But the graves of Ban Non Wat told a different story entirely. They told a story of independent development, of a society that had mastered metallurgy, trade, and social hierarchy, not as a follower, but as a pioneer. In one burial, they found the body of a woman, laid to rest with over 120 bronze bangles on her arms, and beads made from shells that came from the Indian Ocean, hundreds of miles away. Who was she? A queen? A priestess? How could such wealth reach this quiet region in an age when trade routes were barely known? The artifacts spoke of connection between India, China, and the ancient Thai plains, long before modern historians thought such networks existed. As the archaeologists brushed away layers of soil, it became clear that this was not just a local discovery. It was a missing chapter of human history. But the more they found, the stranger it got. Among the hundreds of burials, a pattern began to emerge. Each new generation was buried with more metal, more jewelry, and more symbols of rank. It was as if society itself was visibly transforming, from equality to hierarchy, from tribes to kingdoms, right before their eyes. And then came the final revelation, the discovery of the so-called super burials. These were graves unlike anything seen in prehistoric Southeast Asia. Bodies dressed in layers of bronze, shell, and stone, surrounded by ceremonial spears and musical instruments. Some even had children buried beside them, suggesting dynastic power, the birth of ruling families. It was here, in this tiny Thai village, that archaeologists realized the concept of elite rule and inherited power had emerged far earlier and far away from where history had placed it. Ban Non Wat had become a time capsule of human transformation. Each skeleton, each artifact, was a line of evidence proving that civilization did not spread from one cradle. It bloomed in many places simultaneously, but as the research deepened, so did the questions. Why did these people suddenly become so rich? Where did their bronze come from when no local copper mines were known? And how did their burial rituals become so symbolic, so quickly? By the late 2000s, when over 600 graves had been excavated, the site had turned into one of the largest prehistoric cemeteries in Asia, and beneath every new discovery, archaeologists could feel it, an unsettling truth waiting to surface. Because some of the skeletons showed signs that these people may not have died naturally. Many were buried at the same time, with a suddenness that hinted at catastrophe or ritual. Was it disease, conflict, or something darker? A ceremony where the living were sent to follow the dead into the afterlife. The deeper the team dug, the closer they came to a theory that would shake the foundations of human prehistory. That Ban Non Wat wasn't just a burial site. It was the birthplace of a unique civilization in Southeast Asia, and perhaps one of the earliest organized societies on Earth. But soon after their findings went public, controversy erupted. Some claimed the dating was wrong, others accused the team of exaggeration, and a few, more quietly, suggested the evidence was too perfect, as if someone or something had guided this society's evolution. The question remains, did Ban Non Wat truly evolve on its own? Or was this village touched by influence from an older, forgotten world? The discovery at Ban Non Wat was supposed to answer questions about the past. Instead, it created new ones, questions so bold that even scientists hesitated to speak them aloud. Because the deeper they dug, the clearer it became that something extraordinary had happened here. Something that didn't fit the slow story of human progress we were taught in school. When Professor Hyam and his team unearthed the super burials, they noticed something strange. The graves were arranged with mathematical precision. Each was aligned to the same celestial axis, as if the dead were placed according to the movement of the stars. How could a Bronze Age society of supposedly simple farmers have understood astronomical alignments with such accuracy? Even stranger, several burials contained identical sets of artifacts, bronze tools, decorated pots, and rare shells arranged in perfect symmetry. It was as if a blueprint for power had been followed, an ancient code that dictated how the living should honor their dead. And yet, there were whispers among the villagers that the site itself was cursed. Excavation workers spoke of sudden illness, accidents, and sleepless nights after disturbing the graves. Local monks refused to enter the area after sunset, calling it the ground of restless spirits. But the scientists pressed on because what they were uncovering had the potential to change everything. Carbon dating placed the upper layers of the burials around 900 BC, but the oldest layers went back nearly 2,000 years earlier. That meant the people of Ban Non Wat were thriving long before historians believed complex societies existed in this part of Asia. It was a timeline-shattering revelation. In one of the deepest layers, the archaeologists found something beyond explanation. A man buried with dozens of perfectly preserved bronze axes, each polished as if new. The metal's composition revealed traces of tin and copper that did not exist anywhere nearby. This meant the metal had come from thousands of kilometers away, possibly from ancient China or even Central Asia. How did it reach this isolated village centuries before formal trade routes? The logical answer was contact, but a few researchers began to suspect something more, that these people had knowledge, connections, or visitors that archaeology couldn't easily explain. Among the findings were strange circular ornaments decorated with spiral patterns that matched those found in Europe's Bronze Age sites. A coincidence? Perhaps. But across continents, the spiral symbol meant the same thing: life, rebirth, the eternal cycle. Then came the discovery that silenced the camp for an entire day. Inside one of the most lavish graves, they found a small stone disc engraved with symbols no one could read. Not Thai, not Chinese, not Sanskrit. It was older, unfamiliar, geometric shapes forming what looked like a calendar or a star map. When researchers compared the engravings to astronomical software, the alignment matched the night sky above Thailand, 4,000 years ago. Whoever carved it knew how the heavens moved, knowledge far beyond what the Bronze Age was supposed to have. The findings sparked fierce debate. Some accused the team of romanticizing the data. Others quietly agreed that the evidence pointed toward an unknown level of sophistication. But one thing was certain: Ban Non Wat was no ordinary village. It was a center of power, a capital perhaps of a civilization that vanished without leaving a name. As years passed, the site was slowly closed to the public. Many of the richest artifacts now sit in private collections or university vaults, but whispers persist that not everything was published, that some items, too advanced or too strange, were locked away to avoid controversy. To this day, archaeologists remain divided. Some see Ban Non Wat as proof that civilization blossomed independently in Southeast Asia, proof that human intelligence was not born in one place, but everywhere at once. Others suggest that we're still missing a part of the story, that something or someone gave these people a push. Whatever the truth is, one thing is undeniable. Ban Non Wat changed the map of human history. It showed us that the story of civilization is not a straight line, but a web, with countless centers of innovation, each rising, falling, and being forgotten. As the sun sets over the quiet rice fields of modern Thailand, it's almost impossible to imagine that this calm land was once a cradle of power. But beneath those fields, the kings and queens of a vanished age still lie, their silent message echoing through time. We were here, we lived, we ruled, and you forgot us. If you believe history still holds secrets, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories that challenge what we think we know. Thanks for watching.